the Despair Code. Only this month, since April of 2016, has evidence of it surfaced on the internet. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe that's what they want you to think. First, there is the Lovecraft theory. H.P. Lovecraft wrote about the Old Ones, evil beings or evil gods who inhabited the earth as physical creatures before the evolution of man, some of whom still exist in lairs underground. Next to these beings, which predate the Bible and whose names are known to men, the demons of Christianity pale in comparison. Satan is like a cartoon character next to the festering malfeasance of Cthulhu. According to this theory, the Old Ones exert their influence over certain human artists who introduce the Despair Code into their work, unaware of its source and oblivious of its effect. An artist created an image like this one and circulated it on the web. Another man, a creative writer, published this incantation, which I will not be reading aloud. When the icons of Lovecraft are internalized, one source claims the victim experiences extreme anxiety, followed by depression and psychosis. Then there is the programming theory. There is a document online with instructions for programming human beings through hypnosis. In this work is given a number, which when implanted in the subject's unconscious, will cause the subject to despair. This Despair Code is 3223412. Next, there is the U.S. military theory, which holds the Despair Code is used to identify a chemical gas for use on the battlefield, whose effects are not poisonous, but psychological in nature. It deprives the enemy of his sense of purpose. Highbrow medical officers call it Nietzsche's air, because Nietzsche wrote that life is meaningless. Test subjects exposed to the gas entered a deep state of depression within seconds, unable to summon the will to speak. Some wept quietly. Blue Horizon was the name of the only military operation in which Nietzsche's air was used in combat by U.S. forces during the Gulf War. The target was one company of the Iraqi Republican Guard. Those that did not commit suicide turned on their brothers in a melee of friendly fire, fighting among themselves. The result was so gruesome, and the brass so worried about the press, that the gas was not used again. Finally, there is the governmental theory. The government is using the Despair Code to keep the population under stress, to keep the people from realizing that we are still in an economic depression, and to funnel more money and more power to those that already have both.
I've seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out